just to give a quick background of how this AI art, right? So AI is nothing but artificial intelligence. It's the way in which it will simulate the same way human thinks and using the task that's been told to the computer to do. So somebody programs it, and then uh, it goes through a learning phase where it goes through several set of models through which it will learn all the data, and then it will start understanding, and then it will start telling us. So that is how the AI will work actually. So that is what is used in many of the things that we are currently using. So even if you look at the Google search that we do, it's all running with the AI, and the Netflix or whatever, any recommendations. If you do a hotel recommendation, there again AI is running. So everywhere you see AI is a core part of everything, and it's not going to go anywhere soon. And this is going to be there. So, and that is where this AI art started evolving, and it's a very current trendy one actually. If you see within last few months, there is so many tools have come, and some are open source and some are still in development. And every big companies, like even Google is coming up with the AAR tool, like that. Like a lot of companies are doing it. And I hope you all can see my screen, right?
I can, Deva.
Okay, good.
Yes, Deva, we can see your screen.
Awesome. So
Yes.
then, yeah, just want to give you like the way you all should look at it is like it just increase the power of our imagination. We shouldn't think that, hey, something machine is doing, what are we doing, right? Nothing like that actually. So we have to give them the input. Based on that, it will generate and show us some beautiful images. And I'll show you some of the, because the main thing I want to show is like how we can leverage this for depicting some of the biblical art, right? Because God created so much things, and when we show that in the art form, it easily communicates with another person, and we can convey the story by showing the art. So in the next screen, I'll show you like, can artificial intelligence really make a quality biblical art? So is it just some kind of art that it's going to come out of it, or is it really a quality art, right? If you look at it, one of the art that recently won is a AI art. It sold for 500,000. And you might wonder like, how do they even judge that? Because there is a lot of inputs given in order to get that kind of a result. So that is what anybody see in the art too. So if you look at it, the way the artist is telling the story and how that is how much effort behind it, and what is that person, whoever is conveying at that time, what he might have thought to get that color in place. So all these things is what I think people will see too. But by looking at it, like these are all some of the biblical images. So if you look at it, the first one is nothing but Jeremiah 29:11 actually. So if you look at it, it is literally, it is saying like God is looking at you from heaven when you pray. So that is what it is actually. But the way they prompted it, so I'll talk to you about like how to get this kind of a result. But just get an idea, like, yeah, machine can create some cool images, which is like we may sometimes it may not be realistic image, but still it gives a very nice effect, which will attract the people and it will convey the story behind it. And the next one, if you look, this is a Babel Tower, which I think we all know, like it was really tall, and God made it not uh, should not complete it by making them speak multiple languages. So the way we prompt, and now if you see, there's a lot of languages carved in it. So if you look at it, these are the ways you can easily create a nice image. And then if someone asks you like, hey, what is this about? You can convey the story and you can tell them like, hey, this is how God did it in this, right? So this is another way of just expressing what God has done and all the stuff that we have been learning in the Bible. And we are trying to see how we can quickly communicate that to another person as well. And the last one is again, in the beginning, God created the world and he separated the waters in the heaven and the waters in the earth. So that's where you see like the water is separated and showing some on the top and some on the bottom as well. So this is just to show you, give you an idea like how much the artificial intelligence can produce the result. And some of the art, there's plenty of them. Like right now, so much are evolving. I'll just quickly go through some, which is like Night Cafe is one of the top one. Dali 2, I'll be showing a demo of that, actually, how that works. And Deep Dream. So there are some of them. I'll share this PPT later on. So go through some of this art generator. try to learn, and you don't need to know any coding or anything like that. All you need to know is how to bring the view in which you are looking for. So I'll also teach you how to go through some of the Bible verses and see like how you can start putting that as a prompt as well, right? So you may think like, hey, is it AI art is going to replace the artist then? Is that how it is? No, not like that actually. The way you should think about it is the art story is still the important, right? The story is what is going to show us in the picture. So how you want to convey the story, right? So that is what the prompt is meant to be. So you will be prompting the system saying that, hey, this I want this perspective with this angle, all the details of how you want to show the story that you want to try to see, right? So that is what is important. So the artist can still leverage all these tools in order to collaborate with other paints that they have, or they can look at different formats of paints and get some feedback as well. So you can input your own image into these art tools, and that will tell you like what depths of colors that you are using, what is the similarity with some other art. So a lot of details these tools will provide by comparing between images too. And the another thing is like human cannot process more than certain images, right? But these tools can process millions and billions of images at the same time, and it will give you a very creative ways in which you can develop your creativity as well. So it is all about your imagination, and it will basically these tools will augment you so that you will improve your imagination skills as well. And I'll quickly touch base on some of the other AI art that is going on, right? So there is a lot of AI related musics coming as well. AI generated dances are coming. Voice is getting generated by the AI. So all you need to provide is a text, it will convert that into a voice. So I think some of the promo videos, I already use some of those technologies as well. And AI can create a lot of visualization for us. And as I mentioned, there is a Google has created a AI generator called Imagen, which can create a video out of the story that you are conveying. So that cool. Like you can even create a small, simple movie by just giving text saying that, hey, I need this, that, that. It will create for us actually. So just I'll just quickly tell you what is the AI prompt means, because mostly that is where we our skills we need to apply. So this is where the prompt, whoever is prompting the system will have to give an input in a user text manner. Just say like, hey, this is the subject and these are some of the actions I'm looking for. And we need to provide some description about that image, what you are looking for. And then whatever you want to see in your mind, sometimes you might think like, hey, I want from the bird's eye view, or I want it from a different quality. So all of that you can mention, like I need a 3D rendering image, or you can also mention I wanted it based on a certain artist type as well. So based on this input, it will create an image, and it is not like just Googling and getting you an image. It is like the AI is generating an image based on the study that already it did using that model. And it will create a beautiful image for you. And last thing on the prompt is, need not be just the text as an input. You can also input your own image. And on top of it, you can apply, like, for example, I'll show you some examples where you can upload an image and one part of it, if you want some different scenery background, right? All you need to say is like, hey, in this area, I want some other background. It will do for you. So it'll be very exciting once you start learning, because for me, I started because I've been working in AI for quite some time now. I've been working with a lot of these medical things for a lot of clinical stuff with genomic data and all I work with. Everything is AI because human cannot process that huge amount of data. So we do automate a lot of stuff where even in clinical way, like they call it precision medicine actually. So we prescribe a person based on their genetic data by looking at their data. And we prescribe, like I saying, instead of this medicine, they should take that medicine kind of. So we help the pharmacists and doctors using AI. So AI is really, we should look at it as a way like it helps us, and that same way, even for art, it can help us in many areas actually. Just it will improve your creativity, how we can like really think about and try to convey the story. And as I mentioned, the prompt, basically we need to tell the subject and what type of adjectives. Like you can say like, I want it to be realistic, or you can say like it should be colorful, those kind of things. Or if you know some artist names that have done certain art, you can give that name to, and it will, because if that artist images being used for training, it will come with some patterns that that artist used. And then the style, you can mention what it could, you want it like a modern art or something different. Or we can also mention the graphics actually. Does it have to be in 3D form, or what type of rendering that you are expecting, and the quality of the art you can mention. And also you can say like something trending in social media, right? So those are all the things. So with all these combinations or fewer combinations, whatever that you wanted, you can put in the prompt, and that will give the image for us. So I'll show you some of the biblical images that's created, right? So any questions so far? Hope everyone can hear me fine, right?
Yes, Deva.
Okay, awesome. So let me show you. So this is a AI generated art. So the first one is, you all might know, like it's a Sodom Gomorrah that is mentioned in Genesis, how the destruction happened, right? And so there is an artist called, I think, Ernomus Bosch. So I didn't write this prompt to create it. I downloaded just to show that if you can create some images where you can convey the story. Yeah, this is how that fire ball of fire came and destruction happened, right? And this is created based on this artist style. So if you look at some of the artist images, you might see very similar pattern. And this image is not something already available somewhere and it's bringing us. It is uniquely created by the AI, and you can even get a copyright of it. Nobody, so it is like every time when you click with the prompt, it will generate something new for you. It knows like how the ball of fire and whatever the prompt you're giving, you might say like in this century, houses I want. You can mention the time period as well. Based on that, it will create, and very realistic images will come. Sometimes it may not. We just need to tweak it to get the real image. But at least you will get an idea, and you can work on it more and more to get the way you are looking at. And this is another one like this is like a tree, family tree, right? And this the artist gave the prompt as I wanted it in a China inspired glass. So there are a lot of glass way they create some art. So this, if you look at it, this is a tree in which, but it is created in that glass manner. So that is one. And another next one is the birth of Christ, where Joseph, Mary, and Jesus. And it was mentioned in the prompt that it should be in a 16-bit video game style, right? So it creates for us in that way. So if you look at it, a lot of this is based on the input that we provide. So when you, but they are like, these engines are like capable of handling like so many millions and millions of images already. And it creates uniquely for you. And it is not, another person will not get the same image like what you are getting. So that is the intelligence part of the tool, where it won't replicate same image again and again. Everything will be unique, and you can take your image and take a copyright of it by yourself. And nowadays, even stock photos started accepting some of the AI images. As I said, like a lot of art shows nowadays, the AI images are also participating. And people look at it the way the story is conveyed, right? That is important. And how they created it, and what perspective they see it, and what they're trying to convey on this. So that is where we need to see how we can use it for something biblical, right? Because so much we can do, because God, in using our Bible verses itself, there is so many things that we can try to show in the art form. And that too, if we have a certain tool like this, I'll be happy to spend my time on writing some prompts and getting, just meditating on those words, getting a good idea of what God is trying to convey there. And then if you start putting that in these prompts, you will see a very beautiful way it comes. And until that you see the way you want to communicate it, you can keep on trying different prompts actually. And this is another one actually. So if you look at it, this image, the first one is like, there is in Luke, it says like, first take the plank out of your eye. So this is created using AI as well. So it is a very different perspective in which the prompt is given, where they are saying like, on a plank, they are putting a burnt eye on it, right? And the next one is Luke 8:16. So for example, if you have something like this at home, right, and somebody asks like, hey, what is this about? You can mention the Bible verse and say like, hey, this is what this means, and this is what God says in that. When this one, like if you look at it, the artist is trying to say like, hey, there should be just one source of light, and you can even see how the reflection is coming by the AI, right? This image, you will not find it anywhere. It's not already available kind of. This is something uniquely created by AI based on the prompt that you provided. And the next one is another cool perspective, right? So this is like Jesus calling his disciples, and they are doing it from the fish perspective. So from underwater, if you look at it, how that scene will look like. All they might have given is, hey, Jesus calling his disciples, and they might have mentioned like it needs to be in a 3D render form from the perspective of fish. And the AI knows how to take the subject from it and all the actions that we asked for, the quality that we are looking for, and the adjective in which like what exactly action that you want to see. So all of that, based on that, it will try to show. But if you don't like one of them, or if that's not what you're looking for, you can always keep trying as well. And this is another one that like a house built on the sand. You can see the waves coming, and it will uh, take the house out. These are some of the things I just created yesterday. So you can imagine, like just by giving a few simple prompts, I did, and I'll show you those examples how I did. This one, the first one is like a wall of Jericho. I just mentioned like 15th century BC, wall of Jericho. If you look at it, it's in Joshua 5 and 6, collapsing. And I just put some words like divine, miracle, powerful. Computer may not know all this, but it somehow showed me an image which shows like, hey, there is something divine power came in and distracted the wall, right? We never know how that happened at that time, but at least this is something compelling image where you can convey the story. Yes, hey, this is what happened in 15th century when divine power came and the wall of Jericho got collapsed, right? So I'll show you this example in the tool that I used. And the next one I tried is like it's a Romans 11:17 actually, the wild olive branch being grafted. So if you look at it, this picture, the AI knows what grafting means, and it showed like how a small branch of the olive tree is placed on another bigger branch of it, and they are doing the grafting of it. And you can also see how the background, because I did mention like it should be in digital art form, and we can also mention the angle, like it should be used in a wide angle or a special type of lens that you want to use. All of that you can mention, and the image will be created in that manner. So that is where I think the prompt prompting is important here. So the way you wanted to get that image. And the last one is about the Noah's Ark. I just mentioned like in the middle of the storm, some dramatic, miraculous, epic digital art. It came up, it always gives different option. So I picked one of them, which seemed to show like, yeah, there is something in the middle of the storm, miraculous ways there is happening, right? So these are the ways you can prompt, and why not we use it for conveying a biblical message, right? So there is very few folks started, and this is not like it is a very evolving area where a lot of things are coming up very new, and this collection of data about the history may not be there, but eventually it will happen. But if you start looking at it and the way you can use some of these tools and how you can convey the story, which will make you, it is really, I'll tell you, like once I started doing this, I feel like, yeah, we should keep doing it for different Bible verses, because we have plenty of uh, information already there actually. So we just need to come up with a way to convey that. And this one I just did some fun way, like, hey, Iron Man reading a Bible, right? It gave me this, right? So this is just a fun, just because everyone can read Bible, so there's nothing wrong in it. So I just gave a prompt just to show like, hey, how that will look like. You can see an Iron Man is reading a Bible there, right? And another one I did is like Jesus' temptation in the wilderness, turn these stones into bread. You can see that stone is look like a bread actually, right? It's not just a stones, right? It is really looks like a bread has been split up into two, and it is there. And you can see the quality and I of it, like it blurred the background. So much things like hereafter, even my company, they're not going to use the stock photo anymore. We are spending a lot of amount in stock photo. So they decided they want to create a separate team for AI art, and they want to start using AI art for the all the promotional images and stuff. So that is where the technology is taking. So we just need to see how we can make use of it for the to convey the gospel, right? So I one more slide to go, but before that, I'll show you a demo of how I did it, right? So as I mentioned, there is a tool called DALI 2. That's the one I'm using. Can you all see my screen still?
Yes, Deva.
Okay, awesome. So I'll show you some of this. So can anyone tell me like what this could be? Okay, it's just any of the prompt is right here actually, right? So I just mentioned like painting of a field with a mechanical plow in the foreground and a worker sitting in it in the style of a painter. I have no idea, but I just gave some painter ideas based on the online prompt. It created this. So this is nothing but the Bible verse that we see. The harvest is plentiful and the workers are few, which is in the Luke, right? So similarly, you may have a Bible verse in mind, and the way how you want to convey that is what matters here. And you can change to some other artist type here. If you know somebody else, if you change it and hit the generate, it will give you another few set of images. So the Bible that I mentioned about Iron Man, this is the prompt I gave. And so now next time when I do a generate, I'll just show you how that will work. So this tool is called DALI 2, which is one of the top AI art tool, which is not an open source, so we need to pay for it. So I think initially they will give some credit, but after that you have to pay for it, right? So this is just a fun way, right? Just looked at it. And this is another one I looked at it from there is a Bible verse about the mustard seed, right? I think in Luke as well. Um, the same thing I just put in here in a different form. A mustard tree with birds in the branches carved into an actual mustard seed. Extreme close-up and a macro lens photo. So you can see like how it did, like in this picture, like even inside the mustard seed, it is trying to show a branch in which the birds are. So if this is how like we should see how the art can be prompted in the way that you think will be able to help convey the story, and then some amazing images will comes out of it actually. So I'll also show you where um, some edit that I did, right? So these are all the images that I did. Um, like for example, I tried with Dylan's picture actually. So I just said like, hey, I took one of his picture. I said like, hey, give me a castle, Harry Potter castle behind it. It created for me like this, something like this, right? And it's very simple. Like all you need to do is erase the background, and that background will be replaced by that. I can have another working session where whoever is interested in going in little more detail on the technology or how to use this, we can talk about it in little more detail. But this should give you an idea like, hey, what this whole AI art means and how we should look at it to convey the story that we are trying to do. And this is the plank that I mentioned, right? A close-up photo of a plank of wood with the eyeball symbol burned out. Use a macro lens, and I also gave a exact lens type that it should use. And you can see the way it created for us. And I'll show you another picture where I think this is the one I showed you with the uh, lamp on a stand and a pot, right? So this is again another way to get the prompt and generate the image. It will create, and I also in one of them I erased the background and gave a beach background. It perfectly did it for us. So even some of the Photoshop and those kind of tools are now merging with these AI art, and hereafter AI art will take over all those types of image tools as well. And that is how the future is going to be with all this AI that's going on. So if you look at it, if you can all think about like, hey, how we can use this for something to glorify God, right? So I really start thinking a lot of opportunities immediately. Somehow God gave me that visionary kind of skill. So I always think about like, hey, there seem to be a lot of opportunity for a church. This is something new area where not many people have done much in the biblical side of things. If we look at it like art is really connecting people, and in some way we can come up with a beautiful prompt which will convey the story and in which we can reach out to more people. Let's try that, right? And maybe that will make a big impact within the community. Or if you look at it, there's even across the globe, like if you have a great image that you have a nice story, you can put it as a blog. It might reach out to more people too. And for us, if you look at it at this time, we are also looking at it from fundraising standpoint. So if you can learn in the next few months, we can also learn together, right? These are all some new technologies. So if you are interested, I can also show you some of the ways we can directly access those APIs as well. I don't know, you guys use Hugging Face. That is where I do a lot of my AI work. You can really use some of these technologies and impress your boss as well, because some of these things will easily get, these are all like very upcoming technologies. You can, in the workplace, you can showcase as well, and that will get you a lot of good feedback from them. So just see how you can learn this technology. And there is, as long as you can spend some time and create and meditate on God's word and see what you want to convey, you will see some amazing results coming off of this tool. And might be if you guys like think, hey, I'm interested, just ping me. We can even start another detailed session where I can walk you through how we can do it in a, like we can have one of the session where we can do it like a artathon, like an hackathon. We'll just have some Bible verses and start meditating on it. And let's see, one person can tell us like, hey, this is the message it conveys. And another person might have an artistic look to it. They can say like, hey, if we look at it from this perspective and draw something, it might look this way. So with the different people inputs, we can start creating some cool images. And once we have those images, we can print it in a nice big banners, kind of like a nice canvas, and frame it beautifully. And then if you keep it on the expo, right, who wouldn't, like we can easy way we can connect with them and convey that story, right? That's the main thing. We can, when, if somebody comes in, we can say that, hey, this is what Bible says in this chapter, and you can see that that is what is behind this, and we are trying to depict in this art, kind of. And if somebody is interested in buying it, let them buy, and that we will use it for building fund as well. So those are some of the lot of opportunities I see with this. So anybody that really think like, hey, maybe for me, yeah, paint is still there. Because I also want to learn painting and everything, right? So that is all we need to. So we'll do that. But at the same time, if you think, hey, I want to try something like this digitally with, because we are all spending too much time on computer. If you want to try something like this, let me know, just ping me and we will connect together again on some detailed session. I can walk you through a little more details of how this thing can be done. And we will come up with some cool images, and we can circulate among ourselves. We have a WhatsApp group now. We can say like, hey, this is the prompt I used. This is the image that I got. And that way you can convey as well. For some people like me, if you're not that open to convey gospel to others, to me, anything related to technology, I'll be open to share. And this might be one way you can say like, hey, I use this, and this is how God tells in this chapter. And that's just one way to quickly connect and convey gospel too. So think about it and let me know any feedback so far. Anybody? I see Pastor there. Pastor, are you still there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
So any feedback, Pastor? I know like you might be looking at it from some your perspective too. So what do you think?
Yeah, interesting. Just wanna see how it works, how to use and see. Yeah, sounds very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot more, I think, happening in this field. So it's just that we need to be just see how this tools works and get started and see how we can really do something marvelous. And we never know, as I said, like some art was selling for even 500,000, right? So money is not a problem, but as long as we can able to convey the God's word, that is important. So look at it, and we'll all look at it as a team as well. And anytime, let me know if you have any questions or how this works or what tools needed, what is the best thing to use, or any open source that we can try. We can do that as well. And I'm even thinking like maybe there might be not much of a database of all the biblical images too. So maybe we can also create something for that, and then we can have our model tuned more towards some of the history of biblical images, which will even be even more cooler images we might get. So those are some areas, like if you're really a nerdy guy, just let me know. We can all do a lot of things with technology nowadays, actually. So yeah, most welcome. If you have any other feedback, Ezekiel, are you there? I saw Ezekiel join.
Hey Deva, yes, I'm here.
So any feedback, Ezekiel? I know like you are.
Deva, this is an awesome presentation, Deva. I think this is something that I've never explored, but I think this is kind of an something which is untapped, where we can do so many things graphically itself.
Yeah.
Um, and as you said, I think this is a good way to reach out in terms of the gospel, presenting all the latest technologies and the mindsets that God has assembled, everyone, and prepared such beautiful tools itself. No, this is awesome, Deva. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Hey, no problem. But yeah, I think we should start thinking, because we don't need to think like, hey, I'm not a techie guy. This doesn't require much technology anymore. The tools are there. As long as you have an idea or how you want to convey the story, just plain English, try it out, and it will give you some amazing results out of it, right? So when we form, maybe when we do a artathon kind of thing, right? If you guys are all in on board, we can do it on a session where we can have a few teams and we all can have a topic to meditate on it, and then we can start doing it online and see how the result is. And at the end of the artathon, we never know, like we might have some beautiful pictures to convey that, and we will print it like in a beautiful way. And that might be minimum, we can easily start putting like 5 to 10 images for Art Expo already by doing this, and more to come. But always, yeah, just reach out. And this is just a very informal way. Just want to introduce these tools, but later on we'll do a deep dive and get more into it as well. And Charu, are you still there? Maybe not. Okay. But thanks everyone for attending. I think it might be useful or might have showed you some ways in which you can. And for kids, just see like how, because the reason I don't want this for kids right away is these are all online, right? Everything, anything online, we don't want kids to directly get access to it. So make sure you understand this first and get comfortable of what this does and how this works. And then in some ways or the other, you can help your kids in this creativity as well. You can use these tools to be able to say like, hey, do this. And then once the image is created, you can ask your kids to, hey, start painting like this. That will help as well. So as I said, like this is not something in no way like it is like replacing an artist or anything. Like artist can augment based on these tools that is going to provide here. And always, as Ezekiel mentioned, some of this can easily reach out to our neighbors or whoever like we are calling for that Art Expo, right? They will be impressed when we show something like this and conveying a story. And we will have a blast during that Art Expo that we are planning next year. And so much ideas are there. And if you guys have any other ideas in which you want to do it, let me know. We can definitely make it happen. And in the next session, Ezekiel is going to do a little more deep dive, extended session of how to use acrylic and canvas, right, Ezekiel? Are you there? Maybe not. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Deva. Sorry, I was talking on mute.
Okay.
Yes,
No problem.
absolutely. I think next week we'll have some extended sessions where we can go pretty much hands-on on the painting side. But I would definitely, it would be great if everyone can attend at the church itself. We'll have some good games, and it'll be more for the fun for the kids, even for the adults who will be joining in. So that's a session that I've planned next Saturday. And then the final review, that reveal at the last moment of the portrait. So there's something that I'm working on.
Awesome. And
Hopefully
you want to
everyone can
bring
attend in person.
sure.
I'm
And you
sorry.
want to bring the canvas, right? Canvas and some acrylic, right? The link that
Yes,
you.
that's correct. I mean, I was thinking of picking a certain piece of art, and see if we can, basically uh, plan to paint that like more of a hands-on thing, so the kids can come along, with all the canvases and the acrylic paints. And then based on that, we can actually get into some of the hardcore painting itself. The second part is that, again, we'll be having a fun session where we can just draw some cartoons. And again, the whole aspect is that, how can we glorify God through our art itself? So that will be the main motivating factor itself. So I was thinking of, having some, as I said, some games, some fun stuff for the kids, adults, everyone involved. And yes, and I think once they go back, they'll definitely start painting and have some of the pictures ready there. So yeah, let's hope and
Okay.
see, if everyone can attend,
Already I
that'll be
heard
more
like,
fun.
yeah, I think after the first session itself, a lot of them are so excited and they're missing up
Awesome,
with the canvas, and
awesome.
my son started doing a lot of hard work already
That
after
is
the first.
great. You know
So,
what? In fact, they were like, I think last time I had kind of talked to some of the kids. They already have been doing some arts. It'll be great even for the kids to come and get the arts to the church, and we can definitely showcase them. That we are they are the next budding artists itself.
yeah. Because that way the other kids can get impressed. Like, hey, yeah, we should learn this,
Yeah,
and especially art is something improves their uh, cognitive power. So I think the kids should really get involved in the art actually. So
that
art
is
is something,
awesome.
I think
That
it's
is correct.
expand their creativity in so many ways. It helps. So I think we should encourage our kids to get more involved in this. So I think, yeah, we are all looking forward for the next session. So I think, yeah, everyone, if you can make it, hope the weather will support for that as well. And we'll all meet at church next Saturday.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time, and hope you all had a great time today. And we'll connect back tomorrow in the church then. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deva.